Hello, dear friends. Our appeal of trust for today. Today's Monday, beginning of a new week with the blessings of God. It is chapter 29, the being, perfect work of God. Every spirit is a child of God who is infinitely loved and supported and immersed in an ocean of mercy that always flows towards the safe port of the divine love. When God looks at a being, he does not see an imperfect work. He sees a perfect work in progress, and he knows his work will never fail. When he looks at a sprout and sees the ripened fruit which announces itself, he unconditionally loves each and every stage and season of its development as a being. There is no human circumstance that can affect the infinite serenity and stability of the Father and his loving and wise laws. Infantile acts of human beings are for him regarded as ignorance and rebelliousness, which does not affect or disturb him. Rather, it activates process of natural readjustment and recalibration. The divine law, regulated by our Creator, is ordered and coordinates, sustains, and redirects order. Although the law of justice calls each one to accept the fruit of one's acts and responsibility for one's actions, divine mercy sustains our being during the awakening of our potentiality and discovery of our grandeur in connection with the source which is our Father. Optimism and hope in God are marks of connection with the source of compassion in our heart and in our actions, and testimony of our synchronicity with the greater love. What a wonderful little passage for the beginning of another week and the beginning of another day. One that reminds us that we are a perfect work of God. This is an amazing, amazing idea to think about because it's just so lovely how the Spirit Jesus the Christ puts here that God loves every single phase of our evolution. And when God looks at us, he does not see something that is imperfect. He sees the seed with all its potentialities and all that it will become one day. So this is how God looks at each one of us. In the same way that we look at a child, right? We understand that that infantile, immature stage, it's just a temporary moment. And we don't love less a child because of their unawareness or the foolishness and silliness and little, childish actions. We understand that that's a natural part of where that child is, and within the child there is all the potentialities for it to, for he or she to become a mature adult one day. God looks at us the same way. So God loves us where we are in our stage of evolution with our awareness, our mistakes, our rebelliousness, our inability to understand God does not affect God, right? So why is this so important? Because this reminds us of the need for us, each one of us, to accept our own selves and to embrace our own humanity. One of the things that we tend to do is to expect from ourselves more than what we can do and be in a given moment. A lot of times, out of pride, we want to be perfect. We want to be perfect all the time. And not being perfect causes us a tremendous amount of suffering. That calls for humility. Humility is the ability to understand and to connect with God's plans. Understanding that God planned it to be this way, that we would grow in stages, that in each stage, we are called to do the best that we can, but the best that we can cannot be perfect yet. Perfection is the end of the journey, is not the middle of the journey. So let's start our days with this thought, accepting where we are, which does not mean being passive and not doing anything. It just means recognizing our humanity, continuing to try to do our best, but not torturing ourselves or suffering because we are not yet, we cannot what we cannot be in the present moment. Okay, so wishing you a day filled of love, filled of acceptance, and harmony, and much peace with who you are and where you are in your evolution.